Hey guys, it's HectorGamerTV, back again with another video. Now, today's video is going to be about the Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 5 ending. The ending for Chapter 5 left us with more questions than answers. Now, before we continue, I just want to let you know that there are massive spoilers ahead. Anyways, guys, getting that out of the way. Now, the ending is basically you going back into the beginning of Chapter 1. But what does this mean? I'll explain in a sec, after you take a look at the ending.
Henry, come visit the old workshop. There's something I need to show you.
All right, Joey. I'm here. Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see.
What does this ending mean? It can obviously mean one out of two things. One, this takes place before the beginning of the game, and Henry goes to Joey Drew after he receives the letter, and then goes into the studio. Or two, Henry is stuck in a continuous loop, which he cannot get out of due to the ink machine's power. Now keep in mind that this could not be the only ending for Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 5, as if one of the achievements clearly states, complete the main story. So there could be multiple endings that we have to do, not by just going to the path of the angel or the path of the demon, achieving them by doing various tasks and doing different things. Now, the post-credits for Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 5 can confirm that Henry did make it out of the studio, as if we look in one of the rooms, we see an ink machine that is all rusty. So what could this mean? Could it mean that Henry escaped the studio, or this ink machine was brought before Henry left the studio? Now, the post-credits for Bendy and the Ink Machine can confirm that Joey and Henry are brothers. How do I know this? But if we hear the little girl say something at the end.
Tell me another one, Uncle Joey.
So most of what I said to you did not make sense at all, but I'll explain. So let's say that there are two guys. Both of them are brothers. One ends up having a family, and let's say that they have a child. The other brother that doesn't have the family instantly becomes the uncle. There, that makes sense to you? Well, I hope it did, because I don't know if that made any sense to you. Now, I do not believe that this child is Linda, as in Henry's secret audio log, he mentions that he hasn't seen Linda for days now, so it's obvious that Henry met Linda inside of the studio. Now, we're going to be talking about Sammy's return in Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 5. Now, there are two ways Sammy could have made a return. For one, he faked his death and pretended that the ink demon was actually there in Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 2, and just put a bucket of ink near the door to make it appear as if he had died. Or the second explanation is that Sammy did die in Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 2, but was revived by the ink and the ink machine, similar to how we were revived in every death that we have. Now, let's take a look at the letter sentence that was released on Twitter. Now, we can see that it reads, Bendy holds closely our way out. Now, this would make sense, as our fate is in the ink demon's hands. You see, our first and final mistake was that we turned on the ink machine. And of course, as the cartoon that we play in Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 5, it says the end. And to an end, there's always a new beginning. Just like in each cartoon, it ends, and then a new cartoon is made. And then it begins all over again, and then it ends. That's pretty much the endless cycle that Henry is stuck in, and this message is saying that the ink demon holds our exit, meaning that Bendy has the power to let us go. Now, let's take a look at the giant hand that appears when you're on the boat. Now, if we look at the concept art and the archives and close-up images released from the official developers, we can see that this hand has a glove with two tally marks on it, which Perfect Bendy would wear. So, meaning that this hand is an incarnation of perfect Bendy, but it's not showing the body at all. Or I could be wrong, or this is just a random hand doing nothing, and it's just a hand that's just being controlled by nothing. Now, let me clear up the teaser images that were released. The lost one you can find on the boat mission when you are entering the town of the lost one, so that one's cleared up. Now, the Joey Drew office, you can just enter and find an audio log of Joey Drew. But the one that catch my attention most was the boards. And according to my prediction was right. I made a video about this teaser and I predicted that Henry would fall off the planks. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. Or you can just click or tap on the I button to check it out. As my theory was correct that Henry would fall. He would fall into the pit that was deep below in those boards. Now, another thing that Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 5 confirmed was that Joey Drew was, oh god, I need breath. Now, Chapter 5 also confirmed that Joey Drew is not Ink Bendy. Now, the explanation of who Ink Bendy is very simple. Ink Bendy is Cartoon Bendy. Now, how do I know this? Well, we know that every creation in the studio has a soul possessing that specific character. Like, Susie Campbell possessing the Alice Angel that's has a deformed face, if you know about it. And Thomas Connor possessing the Tom Boris that we see in Chapter 5. But Ink Bendy has no soul, and Joey Drew is not possessing him. As we can see in the apartment, Joey Drew is just there, and is trying to get Henry to stop him. And that is it for today's video. Please remember to hit a like if you did enjoy. And also, I would like to announce something. Like, you guys could request in the comments or DM me on Twitter if you want me to play any mobile horror games. And just to keep in mind, please let them be free at least, and let them be available on iOS, because I have an iOS device, not an Android. And yeah, guys, I'll give you a couple ideas. I can play Granny, any of the developer games, or the new Evil Nun update. The deadline to choose the horror games that you guys want me to play is on October 30th, which is my birthday. And also, one more thing. Let me know if you guys want me to release bloopers. Some bloopers of my recording and how I record videos for you guys and how I mess up all the time. If you guys want to know that, please comment or just say yes or no in the poll that I'm going to be giving you in a sec. So if you guys want to see bloopers of me, go ahead, say yes. And if you don't, you know what happens. But anyways, guys, concluding today's video, and I'll leave you guys, no wait, let me leave you with something else. So, Bendy Chapter 5 was like the biggest chapter that I've ever played, and Bendy and the Ink Machine is honestly the best horror game that I've played in millions of years. It has a good storyline, at least. It's very creative, and I would like to thank TheMeatly for making such an amazing game. But anyways, you guys, that's going to be concluding today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.